James Comey has once again been indicted by Trump's DOJ, and this time over a picture of seashells on a beach from a year ago. Because Comey posted this photo on Instagram back in May that read 8647, and he added the caption, "Cool shell formation on my beach walk." Now 86, that's kind of slang typically meant to get rid of something or toss something out. Right, I worked in a few restaurants myself when I was younger. If you've worked it, you've heard 86 that. Some even use 86 like as a way to say refuse service to someone. And then, 47 appears to reference the 47th president, Trump. And so the message was interpreted by many to mean get rid of Trump. Though specifically, the immediate response from many of Trump's loyalists was that it was a call to violence. And so within a day, the post went down, with Comey saying that he stumbled upon the seashells and assumed that it was a political message. Writing in a follow-up post, "I didn't realize some folks associate those numbers with violence, and I oppose violence of any kind, so I took the post down." But that didn't stop the accusations from rolling in. In fact, Trump administration officials like former DHS Secretary Kristi Noem accused him of calling for Trump's assassination, and Comey was quickly interviewed by the Secret Service. Hell, even Trump himself leaned into it, saying on Fox News,
"He knew exactly what that meant. A child knows what that meant. If you're the FBI director and you don't know what that meant assassination. And it says it loud and clear."
But many people were also quick to say that Republicans were overreaching and that the Republican outrage was hypocritical. And as far as why hypocritical, because you had big names in the MAGA space sharing 8646 in reference to Biden. Even Donald Trump himself shared a video of a truck with a decal showing Biden tied up and gagged on the tailgate. A post that, by the way, is just still up. But yeah, today we're talking about seashells, dangerous, dangerous seashells. And while this whole thing, it kicked off an investigation, it kind of faded into the background as more insane shit just kept happening over and over. That is, until now. Insane shit is still happening. But we also got an update here because you had a new interim attorney general trying to prove that he'll be a good lapdog for Trump. Or you had acting AG Todd Blanche announcing the indictment in a press conference yesterday.
The first count is that on or about May 15th of last year, he knowingly and willfully making a threat to take the life of and to inflict bodily harm upon the President of the United States. While this case is unique and this indictment stands out because of the name of the defendant, his alleged conduct is the same kind of conduct that we will never tolerate and that we will always investigate and regularly prosecute.
Now, despite Blanche's assurance that this is totally normal, it's totally routine, there's absolutely no doubt that this case is a long shot at best. Or you've got a wide variety of experts saying that this is just dead in the water, pointing out that this is clearly free speech protected by the First Amendment and noting that it's going to be nearly impossible to prove that Comey intended the seashells as a threat. But still, you have Trump trying to use the DOJ to handle his personal beef with Comey, and that's not new. In fact, it was a serious issue that he had with Pam Bondi while she was Attorney General, saying she wasn't being aggressive enough against him and Trump's other perceived enemies. So also, if you don't remember, Trump's DOJ had their first indictment against Comey thrown out by a federal judge who concluded that the interim U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia had been improperly appointed. And then there's the fact that Trump fired Comey's daughter from her position as a high-profile New York federal prosecutor. And so there's a chance that Comey's defense looks to get this case thrown out on selective and vindictive prosecution, but arguing that the Trump administration, they're just trying to make anything stick against him to appease their boss. And that is now also fueling the Republicans' concerns that Trump's focus, it's less on things that got him elected and more on him just settling years-old beef. Or with, for example, a GOP strategist in Arizona, Barrett Marson, saying, "There is no doubt that the vast majority of non-MAGA voters want Trump to focus on anything but his personal animus toward a wide variety of people." Something that was echoed by another Republican strategist and Trump critic who said, "That's exactly the opposite of what most Americans would like to see the president and the Department of Justice focused on. They're worried about inflation and the economy, and many of them are worried about how the war in Iran will end. Spending time relitigating old disputes is exactly the opposite of what most Americans want." And then as far as Comey's take on all this, he didn't really seem too concerned in his response video on Substack.
Well, they're back. This time about a picture of seashells on a North Carolina beach a year ago. And this won't be the end of it. But nothing has changed with me. I'm still innocent. I'm still not afraid. And I still believe in the independent federal judiciary, so let's go.
So definitely something we're going to have to keep eyes on, but also definitely not the only high-profile case we have to talk about today.